Hello everyone and welcome to our third cast for our online master's course. Won't be quite as long this week because I think the instructions for Unit 3 are a little bit more straightforward. In this unit, we are going to kind of come down from the theoretical view of integrated STEM that we've really been working with for the first half of the course, and we're going to get into the much more practical aspects of unit planning and some things to think about as you create your unit. If you go here to the week 3/unit 3, you will see once again we have discussion board posts, and that's going to be the same as it always has been. But the big thing that we're going to look at this week is your planning and assessment guide. Kind of the big activity for the week is this integrated STEM assessment / activity plan. And some of you have already worked ahead and have already contacted me and asked me about it. What I would do is click here on this number 5, this planning / assessment guide, and you should get, let's download this to my desktop, a Word document to pop up that you'll have to download yourself, and I would follow this format. Now if you like a different one and you want to make your own, that's totally fine with me. But here you are going to choose a unit or a couple of performance expectations that are relevant to you. So I want you to pick one for your grade level, or if you're not a classroom teacher right now, you can pick a grade level that you think you're going to work with. So what I would do is click here on this number 6 to take a look at the next generation science standards. They're going to be arranged by topics. So you could go here to elementary and you could pick whichever topic for whichever grade. So I'll go 4th grade waves. And if you were going to do a 4th grade waves unit, this area right here, you could basically copy and paste it into this. Now, you don't have to pick the specific science and engineering practices or disciplinary core ideas and cross-cutting concepts that are listed in the NGSS. And I don't want you to walk away thinking, okay, for this 4th grade waves unit, I'm only developing models, constructing explanations, and designing solutions. That's not the way the next generation science standards are supposed to be set up. In a good unit, you might do all 8 of the science and engineering practices. Maybe you do a couple of cross-cutting concepts. For the purpose of the assignment, you can just copy and paste those in if you want, but if you think in my assignment I really want to do constructing the model or engaging in argument from evidence, you can pick those and put them in. You do not have to pick the ones that are listed here. Okay. So down here you might want to think a little bit of how you're going to assess. I would hope that you would be getting away from more traditional assessment like multiple choice or fill in the blank type of quizzes, and really kind of thinking outside the box a little bit and thinking about possibly ways in your language arts, how you could do some writing, different types of writing. It could be something like okay, sorry about that. But in the assessment, thinking of kind of non-traditional types of assessment, one thing that I promote with my college kids is to think about how you could do an integrated language arts writing lesson where your students are communicating their understanding of the topic. So that could be something like making a pamphlet that, if it was energy or waves, for this particular one about amplitude and wavelength, they could make a pretend kids, like a Ranger Rick or a type of like Science and Children type of magazine where they're explaining these things. They could also make a warning poster for people that are going to go to a Justin Bieber concert or something like that, about warning about the loud noises that are going to occur and what that could do. So I really challenge you to kind of think outside the box with that for this, how they're going to be assessed. Here, I would like you to look up that grade level's Common Core math standards, and I do have a hyperlink here that you click to it and it will jump to the Common Core math standards. And I do want you to find some standards that are aligned with that grade level. And I want you to kind of be thinking about, okay, I'm teaching about whatever, waves or whatever, and then I'm going to try to think about these targeted Common Core math standards. This is how I'm going to assess them. Okay? And then down here, I want you to think about those executive function skills or cognitive principles that we talked about in week 2. And this can be very vague. And actually all of these in these boxes can be bullet points. You do not have to write paragraphs. It can just be some very kind of outline basic things that you're doing. So I want you to think about a couple of things and how you would include those. So I want you to think about these executive function skills or cognitive principles, and you'll notice to say how they'll be addressed, not assessed. You do not have to come up with a way that you are going to assess inhibitory control or working memory or any of those types of things that were in those documents from week 2. You're just going to talk about how would those come out in this lesson. Now you might notice I don't have anything for engineering and I don't have anything for technology. Now if you want to write a little bit about those down here in your description, that's okay, but you don't have to. We're just kind of starting a little bit about science and math and how we would integrate those. In our final full unit plan, we're going to think about integrating technology and engineering, and you'll probably work with these same performance expectations for your final project as well. But down here, part 2, the description of the lesson, you do not have to get really in depth with it. You can just kind of give me a page or two just kind of describing the unit. And remember, this is not supposed to be like a one-day thing. I mean, assessing these couple performance expectations could take 2 weeks, it could take a week, it could take 3 weeks. There's no minimum or maximum of how long it's going to take you to address these different performance expectations in the next generation science standards. So this is just a page or two just kind of telling me from start to finish what you're going to do. And you do not have to get super in depth. I just want to be able to read this and say, okay, I get what they're trying to do here. All right? So that is your big assignment for week 3.